What's good, y'all? I'm back with another video. I told you I'm gonna be consistent with this content, so just trying to bring a lot of depth to skincare, keloids, multifacets in general. But I know for this series specifically, this is something that people have been asking for a minute. So the topic for today is how to build confidence with keloids. And this can also be used in regards to any type of skin issues that you have going on, acne, whatever. I'm specifically talking about keloids, because that's something that people have been asking me about. And I also have other videos in the past from some years back where I was going through Accutane and just dealing with different skin issues. But today we're going to talk about the confidence to get, over that hurdle, right? So how do you build confidence over keloids? Number one, you have to acknowledge that person in the mirror. So when we think about this concept, you may think that it's obvious. Oh, okay, I see myself every day, boom, boom, boom. This is what I'm supposed to do. Well, it's not as easy as it sounds, right? Each day that we get up, we have to, look at ourselves in the mirror in order to be able to brush our teeth, get clean, get dressed and everything. But we may also avoid that person because of the imperfections that we have, right? And the first thing that you typically will notice is either your weight, your body, your frame, or your face, right? And a lot of times we're going to see the face first because most time if you have a mirror that's maybe not big, maybe a smaller mirror in your bathroom, that's the first thing that you look at initially because that's the first thing in front of you. The biggest thing is to acknowledge that person and acknowledge the imperfections, right? Because you know that it's there, but at the same time it's like you have to be able to look at the structure of your face, be able to look at the things that are going on and really embrace like this is what it is, right? And at the end of the day, whether you take steps to work on it or you don't, the first process is to be able to acknowledge that. Like, hey, I have this right there. I got this bump right here. I got these things in my head. I have eczema at this area. This part of my skin is dry. Like, this part of my face is looking a little bit unproportionate. You have to acknowledge that because that's going to be the first step for you to be able to take the next step in figuring some things out and wanting to take action to remove that. Tip number two, embrace yourself pushing through it. So a lot of times when we think about different imperfections we have or issues that we have going on, we don't realize at times the positive days that we've had because a lot of times we can be so focused on the negative or what we're without, right? And if you think about your acne, your keloids, skincare, there's probably at least a few days that you've had to where you felt good about yourself, right? There could be a day where you dressed nice, the way your skin was glowing one day, and it just felt as if your body was not reacting in the way that it typically would. And most of the time, we've at least had one day, especially over the span of some years. There's been a lot of time that's went by where we've at least had one day that we truly felt good. And more than we realize, that time probably was where we didn't have anyone around. If we did have someone that was around giving us compliments or however, we still had to embrace that for ourselves to feel good. But there's a lot of period of time that goes by to where we do have some good days, right? Even if it's a good day to where you're like, hey, I'm going to block this from looking at this, but I'm going to go out and enjoy myself or whatever, and then somebody gives you a compliment, that's a positive, right? Because even though if you had that blocker up, which can be negative at first, you eventually found something that can make that experience positive. So we really want to take these times to embrace that because a lot of people can't push through those particular times, right? There's people that are even that have what you may be looking for in regards to body-wise, to having clear skin or whatever, but they may be going through it a lot versus how it's portrayed on social media, how it's portrayed in the public. But if you're someone that can truly find ways to embrace the process that you're going through and look back at time to say, hey, I felt good this day. I may have a video on my phone where I look really good. It may even be a family picture to where the way that you're posed and your skin's looking nice and people give you compliments. You've got to embrace those points because a lot of people aren't able to say that they can separate the two where it's like, okay, I know I'm going through it, but let me at least owe it to myself to provide happiness for myself. Let me at least owe it to myself to provide that positivity to shed light on the areas where I do feel that I'm doing well. Because a lot of times it's so easy for us to look at certain parts of our bodies and our skin and be like, I'm not really liking that. Like I can say right now, hey, I have a couple of areas where there's a little bit of scars, but I got to embrace this side. I got to embrace, how my skin's looking now, how my skin's clear. Like you have to be able to get out of that mind frame because what you're doing is you're picking at yourself so much to where you're creating even imperfections that the outside world may not even see. You may be a person that's so worried about how everybody feels about you, what they're going to say. But some people may be like, this person is super attractive. I don't even notice what they're talking about until they bring it up, or until they act as in a way as if it's bothering them. So you have to be a person that, embraces it, but also to embrace it, look at times in your past to where you had a really good day, to where you actually felt good about yourself, and where you can at least find something. It can be small as a piece of clothing that you had on. It can be as small as one little pimple moving away. It can be as simple as one dry spot on your body that's typically is always there. You have to be able to embrace those small things, because eventually it'll grow into, dang, I noticed this has been consistent over here. Now I see this over here. I forgot that this was even there. But I remember how happy I was whenever this particular thing was here and I got it removed. Now I'm on to the next thing. So then it continues to add up to the point, if I got 10 things that I'm happy about and positive about, that one thing that I wasn't happy about doesn't mean anything, because now these 10 add up way more than that. It's a quality and a quantity thing, right? Because here we're trying to focus on multiple areas of development to get us into that positive and confident state. So that's my step number 2.